guys, my name is Elisa Barsh. I'm from Alpha Epsilon Phi, and I'm going to share a couple bedtime stories with you guys. I think these stories will be great for kids up to about 7 or 8 years old, but definitely really great for your younger ones. The first story we're going to read is called Bedtime for Monsters. It is my brother's favorite story from when he was a kid. He told me that I had to read it if I was going to read a story. So let's get started. Do you ever wonder if somewhere, not too far away, there might be monsters? Because supposing there are monsters, do you think that this monster might be licking his lips and thinking about you? And if this monster is thinking about you, maybe he's thinking about you in an eating you up kind of way. I hope not, because he's coming to find you right now. And as he bicycles bumpily through a dark and terrible forest, bump, bumpity bump, do you think he's smiling because he remembered to pack his knife and fork? And as he crosses the gloopy, schloopy swamp, gloop, gloop, schloop, do you think he's imagining just how good you'll taste, all covered in ketchup? And as he tiptoes through thorns and thistles, scritch, scratch, ouch, do you think he'll decide you'll taste even more delicious, squished and then squashed onto hot buttered toast? And at this very moment, as he climbs up the cold and snowy mountains, getting closer and closer to you, don't you think he'll be feeling very hungry-minded? You're not scared, are you? Because if he is feeling very hungry indeed, while he searches high and low and up and down and in and out all over town, maybe you'll hear his big empty tummy rumbling and grumbling. And if you do hear a rumbling and a grumbling, might you also hear a creak, creak, creak as he starts to climb up the stairs? Creak, creakety creak. And as he opens your bedroom door, do you think he's licking his lips because he wants to gobble you up? Oh no, it's much worse than that. This monster wants a disgustingly sloppy goodnight kiss. Kiss, kissity kiss. Because it's bedtime for monsters everywhere. Big ones like him and little ones just like you. Did you really think he wanted to eat you up? How silly. Although, you could leave out a little bedtime snack just in case. So that's Bedtime for Monsters. And now our next book is my favorite from when I was a kid. And it's called Giraffes, Cant Dance. And that's why I wore my little giraffe shirt. So let's read. Gerald was a tall giraffe whose neck was long and slim, but his knees were awfully crooked, and his legs were rather thin. He was very good at standing still and munching shoots off trees, but when he tried to run around, he buckled at the knees. Now, every year in Africa, they hold the jungle dance, where every single animal turns up to skip and prance. And this year, when the day arrived, poor Gerald felt so sad, because when it came to dancing, he was really very bad. There were warthogs started waltzing, and the rhinos rock and rolled. The lions danced a tango that was elegant and bold. The chimps all did a cha-cha with a very Latin feel, and 8 baboons then teamed up for a splendid Scottish reel. I like this page the most. Gerald swallowed bravely as he walked toward the floor, but the lions saw him coming, and they soon began to roar. "Hey, look at clumsy Gerald," the animals all sneered. "Giraffes can't dance, you silly fool. Oh, Gerald, you're so weird." Gerald simply froze up. He was rooted to the spot. "They're right," he thought. "I'm useless. Oh, I feel like such a clot." So he crept off from the dance floor, and he started walking home. He'd never felt so sad before. So sad and all alone. Then he found a little clearing, and he looked up at the sky. "The moon can be so beautiful," he whispered with a sigh. "Excuse me," coughed a cricket, who'd seen Gerald earlier on, "but sometimes when you're different, you just need a different song." Listen to the swaying grass and listen to the trees. To me, the sweetest music is in those branches in the breeze. So imagine that the lovely moon is playing just for you. Everything makes music if you really want it to. With that, the cricket smiled and picked up his violin. Then Gerald felt his body do the most amazing thing. His hooves had started shuffling, making circles on the ground. His neck was gently swaying, and his tail was swishing round. He threw his legs out sideways, and he swung them everywhere. Then he did a backward somersault and leapt up in the air. Gerald felt so wonderful, his mouth was open wide. "I'm dancing! Yes, I'm dancing! I am dancing!" Gerald cried. Then one by one each animal who'd been there at the dance arrived while Gerald boogied on and watched him quite entranced. They shouted, "It's a miracle! We must be in a dream! Gerald's the best dancer that we've ever seen!" "How did you learn to dance like that? Please, Gerald, tell us how." But Gerald simply twirled around and finished with a bow. Then he raised his head and looked up at the moon and stars above. "We all can dance," he said, "when we find music that we love." The end. So those are my 2 stories for you guys. I hope you have a great bedtime and enjoy. Good night.